Welcome back to 9 News Mornings. We have Dr. Rosemarie Allen joining us this morning for a conversation about conversations, specifically conversations about race.
Yeah, and Dr. Allen, sometimes it could be tough to talk about these conversations with your friends. Why is that?
You know, because they matter. Because they're really, really, really important. And anytime you're talking about race, culture, lived experiences, it's emotional. And everyone has different experiences. So many times it's emotional and then it gets to be uncomfortable. So we either avoid it altogether or we adopt this kind of colorblind stance. I don't see race, I just see color. But what we don't understand when we do that is that that actually adds to the problem. We're so careful not to offend that many times we don't say anything.
You know, I knew we were talking about this today, and I thought there was no way we can handle all the layers to this in 3 minutes. But
Right.
we are going to tackle something that I think is pretty interesting. A lot of people will say, I don't see color, right? I don't see color. And I think that's a nice thing to say, but you're saying there could be some problems with that phrase.
Absolutely. It's very problematic because when you say you don't see color, first, it's not true because we
There
see
you go.
color. You know
Yes.
I'm a black
I'll
woman
tell you-
sitting here.
I'll tell you something about that in a second, but continue,
Okay,
please.
and then it really diminishes my experience, my lived experiences, and then it sets up a situation where we can't address inequities, that we have to pretend that everyone's the same, when in fact we have very, very different life experiences and we approach the world through a different cultural lens.
I've raised 2 kids, right? They're both 18 now. I think I've told you this before. You may say to your kids, I don't see color. You shouldn't see color. The kids see color before they can even speak. And when they were little, before they could really communicate, but just a little bit, you know, they were pointing out, like, that person looks different than me.
Absolutely.
So you can't ignore it. You have to address it.
You have to, and Drew, you can address it in a very comfortable, matter-of-fact way. I was at the supermarket, young kid almost ran into me. He goes, hey, you're black. And I said, I am, and you have blue eyes.
There you go.
It's as simple as that because what they're noticing is difference. But what happens as they get about 4 or 5 years old, then value is attached.
Okay.
And if we don't talk about it, then they go off and they develop their own understanding with a 4-year-old brain.
Dr. Allen, when should they have to have these conversations without causing harm? Is there a way that we can lean into it without, just avoiding it altogether?
Yes. The number one thing is that discomfort doesn't mean you're unsafe. You're going to be uncomfortable. I promise you, when you have these discussions, you're going to make a mistake. You're going to misgender. You're going to use the wrong label. All around, we have to be forgiving. My grandmother says, speak the truth in love. If someone says, hey, my hair, don't call it dreadlocks, they're locks because my hair's not dreadful. Be open and go, whoa, thank you. Thank you so much for letting me know. So I think the key is to engage, to be curious, to be open, and to really want to know more.
Yeah.
Practice cultural humility. Cultural humility puts you in a stance of a learner because if you don't, you may stereotype and think, oh, Hispanic people do this. And it's not. Culture is defined by, someone said, teaching your children the rules so everyone will like them. But it's really defined by our lived experiences.
Dr. Allen, we have many more questions. We have no time left.
Oh
so
my
we're
gosh.
going to have to do a part 2 on this topic. Would you come back for that?
I absolutely will.
All right.
And I'll give some
Rosemarie
good
Allen.
strategies
Okay.
next time.
Thank you very much, Dr. Rosemarie Allen.